Welcome back. This is Redmayne Plays Games, and I'm Redmayne, that's me. And today we're going to finish up on the last video that I showed you, which was how to configure everything that you need to for the little miner that we made to work, fly properly, and set up your toolbar effectively so you can dock, undock, use the cameras, use the drills, and do the programming aspect for the PAM auto script. So let's get into it. First thing we're going to do is add all of the manual components to the toolbar, which we use the G menu to do so. So while you're in a vehicle, if you access the G menu, you'll be able to drag things into the toolbar for the vehicle instead of your personal inventory. So when you pull it up, you'll notice that each component is individually listed here. And so anything that's a single component, we're going to go through and add. So I'm going to remove the ones that I already added so I can show you how I do them. I like to put the camera in the 4 slot because 1 through 3 is going to be reserved for Pam. So on the 4 slot, we'll drag down the camera and select View. That will allow us to view our camera when we're up in the air. The next thing I like to have is the connector in the 5 slot, and I do a switch lock option for that, so I can just press it once to connect to the grid and once again to remove myself from the grid. And then for the rest of the items here, we want to group up with the exception of the drill, which is a block tool, so we're going to move just the drill over to the 9 slot. Now once we do that, we can start to access the drills when we turn our ship on here. By pressing the left trigger, it'll start to mine, and the right trigger will dig a hole. So we have our ship off to conserve energy so that I can dock us to the connector over there so you can see when that's done. So we're going to press the I menu, go back to the control panel, and we're going to group up things that we want to have one button. So we're going to take all 3 batteries here and call those miner bats. Simple name, easy enough to remember. Then we have all of the thrusters, so we're going to grab those and put those in a group called miner thrusters. You definitely want to choose names that you're going to remember. When you start to have multiple ships on one grid, all the thrusters are going to show up and it might be confusing, so naming them for each vessel in a way that makes sense and you'll remember is important. So we'll save those. We've got the batteries. What else? We could also do the lights. Okay. So we will leave that menu, go back into the G menu, and now under the groups, we'll see the items that we just listed. So we'll put the batteries in 6, and I like to have that in recharge mode. So if you press it once, it'll set the batteries to recharge. Press it again, and it'll set it back to auto. And then the thrusters will be in the 8 slot, and those will be just a toggle on and off. Back up to the original blocks, we're going to grab the programmable block and we're going to drag it to the toolbar. When we do, there's a lot of options. The one that we're going to use is the run option. And in the 1 slot, we're going to do run with the argument up. In the 2nd slot, we're going to do run with the argument apply. And in the 3rd slot, we're going to run with the argument down. Some people like to do up, down, and apply. I like to do up, apply, and down, and then keep my 3 fingers on there to navigate through the menu easier. So if you've never worked with PAM, this is a pretty basic tutorial on that too. So we're going to press the I menu, go back to control panel, and choose the programmable block. And in-game scripts must be enabled for you to use this. I always play with it on. We're going to go into the Edit option, Browse Scripts, and search for PAM, which is something I've subscribed to in the workshop. So it should show up here. All right, so we see the PAM Path Auto Miner script. We're going to click it and copy to editor. So this script was designed by keks, last updated in 2019, and it works like a dream. As you can see, there's a guide and some additional information here, and you should certainly check out the YouTube link provided to see what the script actually does fully. So we're going to go ahead and click OK, and now we'll have those functions in our ship once I turn it on. So we'll escape the menu, press Y, go back into our menu, back to the programmable block, and now you'll see on the right side here that the script is working and we have some options here. Now, to navigate this menu, we needed to set up that programmable block with the up, down, and apply. You can't really manipulate it from this menu, so we're going to hit escape, and then I'll show you where we're going to put it. If we hold the Alt key and look down, you can see we have the 3 monitors down below. I like to use the middle one because it's larger, so we're going to take over that screen since we don't really need our altimeter. We have the everything covered here from our toolbar area. So back to the control panel, and cockpit we're going to rename, well, keep cockpit and then add brackets and PAM with colon and then a number. 0 through 2 controls the screens that we have. So we're going to choose 1, which is the middle one, and close the bracket. Almost instantly you can see it in the background here. Hold Alt to scroll down a little bit again to see. And now because we've set our keys, we should be able to move through this menu and select options, which is awesome. Now based on my ship design, I like to go into the behavior settings and change the max load to about 60%, because when this ship is doing its auto mining, it's going in with the drills running and coming out with the drills running, and sometimes it can take more stone than it can handle. So we're going to go into advanced as well and just double check the settings in here. So it says enable the drills forward and backwards. Maybe we'll fix that and just do forward only. One less thing we have to worry about. Okay, and so at the top of the screen you can see it says no job and no dock. So we're going to now fly over to our dock, rest on it for a minute, and then show you how to use this. So now that we have our ship ready with the camera set up on here, we're going to press 4 and we can see the overlay from the camera. And so if you line up the center of the camera with the light from the connector below, they should line up pretty well. Once they're yellow, you know they're able to be connected, and you'll press 5 to connect. If you press 6, the batteries will go from auto to charging. So we'll let that charge for a second, turn off our thrusters to save the power that it is generating, and take a peek and see if there's anything nearby quickly that we want to try to mine. Oh, there is. There's a little stone sticking out of the ground over there, so we're going to enable our ore detector and then get close to it and see what it is. So we'll go back into our ship here. Control panel, ore detector, make sure the range is set to the full range. We're going to turn our thrusters back on so we don't fall out of the sky. Turn our battery back on so that we're able to take off. And 5 to disconnect from the dock. Oh, I forgot. We don't want to do that at this moment. We want to actually hold the Alt button and scroll down and start recording our path. So since we know where we're going and we know we want this ship to come back and dock, we're going to start the recording on the dock so that it knows where its home is. So you press the 2 key to apply, and now you can see it says no job, ready to dock. So we are going to press 5 to leave the dock, move forward, come find our rock over here. Okay, and it's silicon. It's not what we hoped for, but for the purposes of this tutorial, we'll just roll with it. So we're going to get semi-close to this rock, and then we're going to hit stop recording. Now we need to set up a mining job, so we're going to press the 3 key to go down to set up mining job, and the 2 key to start setting up the job. Now once we're here, this pulls up a menu, and it should also highlight a block area in front of us, but because we don't see that, we're going to fix it by hitting the I key and going into the info tab, and make sure show sensors field range is selected. Now when we do that, we should see the range of where this is going. What did I do wrong? I forgot to name the sensor with the PAM. So similar to how we did the cockpit, we also have to do the sensor. So we're going to come in here, add our bracket, PAM all caps is needed, close it, and then I may need to turn it on and off for it to show up, or change the width. There we go. And we'll change it back. In this one, we don't need a super large area. So if we hit V again and scroll outside of our ship, we can see the area that this is going to try to mine. So we'll bring it in close. Get everything in the box that we want. I like to try to not angle it down too far. So we're going to just come and set it just like this. Scroll to look back down. Close our width a little. Close our depth quite a bit. We don't need it. Then we'll scroll back up. First, we'll have it go from the center and out. There's 2 different types. You can start the position in the top left corner and it'll make a square going that way, or you can start in the center and it'll make a square going from the inside out. So we'll do that to make it look cooler, and then we will start the new job. As soon as I press this, it will automatically start trying to get ore. And so, if we watch from outside, this will now just dig right into the area that we told it to until it gets to a certain level of being full, which we put at 60%. And man, does that work so well. Kudos to Keks for making that script. It's just amazing. And now this ship, even if I hop out of it, it's just going to go all the way over there and it's going to dock. And so if you have multiple spots for ore and you know where it is, making these little ships is a great way to, be more productive and focus on building the base that you want to build. So I'm not sure how it chooses which direction it's going to face when it reaches each checkpoint. I think it might be based on your velocity or how much thruster is in each direction. But as soon as it comes to the dock here, it just comes down and does its own thing, and it touches down oh so gently. And bam! Now you can hear the refinery pick up. It's moving the ore from the ship into the refinery. And so you can make this setup as complicated as you want it to be, but this is really just the basic, simple uh, configuring your ship to do what you want it to do, and scripts to help it run the way you want it to run. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this helps someone who might have been struggling with using the script.